UGK the major way, not play it, it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock hit. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? And he's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. Yeah, it's top 10. Hey, now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget, bro? Put G.O.D. first and nothing less, no. On a radar per release, per request, yo. Life is like a dice game, that's a bet, though. Is you bugging, that's a dub. Shoulder shrug to the stub. Tell them hit the squatty up. See a line of cars meet up. Nah, don't bother us. Windows fogging up. If she in a passenger, then you know she finest. Damn. It's really still a bros and my blood love. All is all love. AWD, it got a newer clutch. And my guapi up, you could call me up. Since you know the face and the name, this is us. We the top 10. UGK the major way, not play it, it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock hit. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? And he's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah, it's top 10, hey. Yeah, I heard you knocking, but my nigga, I am not here. Watch out for the company you keep, cause people mad with. I will pull up on you and address it, I am not scared. We just looking down on these niggas from the top stairs. We been dropping back to back to back, but it don't stop here. People love to tell me their opinion, I do not care. Way that we keep bodying these tracks, man, it is not fit. Way that God keep blessing me, protected by my mom's prayers. In my own bubble like a Montclair. Count the money, making sure it's all there. Designer in my closet and it's all rare. Every year it's all nature boy like top 10. UGK the major way, not play it, it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock hit. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? And he's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah, it's top 10, hey. We the top 10, UGK the major way, not play it, it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock hit. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? And he's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah, it's top 10, hey. Now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget, bro? Put G.O.D. first and nothing less.
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. You're on step like Ginobili from young OG to the OG.
All right, episode 391. It is July 25th, 2024, and you are listening to the PHPUgly podcast, a weekly podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, the surrounding community, and our company, PHP Architect. I am one of your hosts, Eric Van Johnson, and with me, as always, is John Congdon.
I'm ready. I had it playing over on the other browser and just had that song in my head. Who's ready? I'm ready. I don't know why. But it's still.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're happy you're able to be part of the show. You can actually be a real part of the show by joining us in our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. You can suggest titles. You'll see the chat scrolling up along the side here. This side here, over there. Yeah, that side right there. And you can hang out in the Discord all week long. Some fantastic people in there, mainly developers, and surprisingly enough, PHP developers. Great people in there, great conversations had by all. But the show is also made a little better thanks to some sponsorship from honeybadger.io, our company, PHP Architect, as well as our fantastic supporters on Patreon who really carry the show. We appreciate all of you, and we will talk about all of that a little later. Talk more about that a little later.
Did you see, I think it's Rollock, just sent a message via YouTube. Just got their first dev job, and they thank us.
Congratulations, Rollock.
That's awesome.
You need to pop into our Discord. We can be a beacon of influence to you all week long. If you can handle it. Actually, don't jump on our Discord. I popped into the Discord before the show started and saw, I guess, John and a couple of our Discord members have been scheming to do the show without me. Not sure what that's about. But
I don't think that's what happened.
I think it is. I think that's what happened. But yeah, cool. I think that's it. Did I hit on everything? Did I miss anything? I always feel like I'm missing something, but
no.
Who cares at this point? I'm dialing it in.
You always.
I'm on vacation, man.
You mentioned PHP Architect as a sponsor because obviously it's our company, and yes, we do talk about it a lot. If you want to write for the magazine, I'm going to say it up front because I've responded to some emails and said, hey, we're going to talk about it on the show, so I'm going to lead right in with it. We're always looking for people to write for the magazine. If you think you have anything you want to share with other people, you don't have to be an expert, although by writing a column or writing an article on it, you will probably become an expert because you are going to learn way more than you know now so that you can share your knowledge with people. So yeah, hit us up, phpa.me/write for all the informations.
He doesn't sell it hard enough.
And we'll give you monies.
We pay you. We make it a very easy process. I promise you. You can speak to any of the ones that still speak to us, and they'll tell you that they're legally bound to say it's an easy process. I know, there may be some caveats there, but really, we do make it simple. And again, simple. We try to say this all the time, and I think people have a hard time grasping it or trusting us. But if you've learned something, you don't have to be a subject matter expert in it. But if you've learned something, chances are it's something somebody else can learn. So, write about your experience, write about your journey. Tell us how you got from point A to point B, no matter what it is. It could be things as crazy as event sourcing. Not that event sourcing is all that crazy, or some very simple stuff. We've had people write about their journey into becoming a full-time developer. So, yeah, just ping us, hit us up on in Discord, hit us up on X, and if you have an idea for a topic, let us know. We'll help you along the way. See what I did there, John? I made people feel good. I made them feel like it's something that it's obtainable to them.
I thought I did too. What
You
can
did
I say?
not.
I did not.
You did.
I failed. Are you saying I
Yeah.
failed?
Just
Welcome to
like
my normal world.
Yeah. Just like you're mutant. I'm watching you, TJ. You were at.
I also want to ask, if you're watching us or listening to us, please head over to our PHP Architect YouTube channel and subscribe. Costs you nothing.
Yes. Yes. I think I talked about this on the show here a couple weeks ago. I talked about it on PHP Roundtable. We are going to start to try to consolidate the streams to PHP Architect. Immediately, there'll be no real changes. Just that's going to be the stream we start pointing to on social media posts and things like that. At some point, and I don't know when that point will be, I might stop updating show notes on the PHPUgly channel because it doesn't really take anything for us to stream to the channel because of the service we use currently today. But it's just I have to bounce around to a couple channels to update all the show notes everywhere. So if you really want to stay up to date, if you really want to support us in what we're doing, go over to PHP Architect, subscribe to that channel, and consume all your content there for now. But yeah, nothing really should change. All the streams will be the same. All right, John, I have actually taken a couple of days off this week, so I've had an abbreviated work week. I took off yesterday. I would say 80%. I did a little work in the morning, addressed a few things in the afternoon. I don't think I've done anything today, including sit in my office, except do the show prep stuff for today. So I have nothing to talk about. I've
normal.
been sleeping. Yeah, pretty much.
Normal week.
Yeah, well, not normal. I've been sleeping like vertically as opposed to at my desk. So that's been a little different. I found that to be a little bit more comfortable, but I don't know. No. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Lay it on me.
Is this the super dirty hat that you promised to share with the audience last week?
It is not, John.
It is just a dirty hat, not your super dirty hat.
It is actually. This is a new hat. I actually just got this hat at the ball game yesterday. I went to the game yesterday, and I actually just got it. But it's made to have that weathered look. Like I've actually done stuff with it. You know what's funny about that? It does look
very worn in the corners there.
What's funny about that statement is that hat that you just mentioned is in my truck, and every day when I come home from the dog park, I look at the hat and I say, I really should take that in and wear it on the show. Earlier this week, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm wearing that hat on the show this week. I have to remember to grab it before I go in, on Thursday, this morning. And of course, this morning we don't go to the dog park because we had to have a technician come out for our refrigerator. And it's like, and the whole day, the whole morning, I was like, man, I feel like I missed something. I'm like, oh, that's right. We didn't go to the dog park. That's just why I feel weird. Like, I'm off track. And now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to grab that hat, wasn't I? Damn it.
You can do it next week when I'm not here. Whole show, just you and your hat.
No show next week, man. We're taking the week off. So, although apparently we have enough volunteers who'd be more than happy to replace any of us at any time. But no, I'm going to take the opportunity to blame you for not doing the show next week. So that's it's a long thing, a long con I have going. When I need everybody to turn against you, John, I'm going to say, you remember all those times I traveled, I was on vacation, I still did the show, and John didn't?
I would, but I will probably be in no shape to do so.
You will. Yeah, you're right. I was about to say you will be in a different time zone, but it's still a very reasonable time zone for you to be streaming at. So, what is wrong with you exactly?
I'm gonna be
what have you been up to this week? Huh?
Gonna be with people's. All sorts of stuff. I've watched a lot of talks on APIs, but I really started diving into doing my own open API spec for an endpoint this past week. I've done it before only through copy and paste, right? Copy somebody else's YAML for an endpoint that's in the application, and I just needed to tweak it a little bit. And then I really started to do a lot more, with it. And I realized I am dumb. I need somebody to write a really good open API spec article, which I think we've had one, but I need a new one. So that's been a big part of my week.
Is that your pitch to try to get somebody to write an article for us?
It is one that would work.
I need to learn this thing, so if anybody felt like they wanted to write about it, I'd be willing to pay you for it.
No, it's interesting. There's so much you can put into it, but you can also screw it up. So I'm following the task that I was given as far as it's moving from our old crappy API. I think I talked about it last week. We're re-architecting how we do routes and endpoints and the API in general. So the task was really, we need all the stuff that was in the old one, in the new one, but done a little more modern, with HAL representation, all the self-links, just a better overall representation, but include the stuff that was there. So I do that, and then of course I get, well, why didn't we do this and that and that? I'm like, it wasn't in the task. I was doing what I was told. Also, the fact that you can add to an API very easily, it's harder to take away. So get something out there now, and then we can always, add to it later.
Yeah. Speaking of API endpoints, and speaking of our Discord, in our Discord, somebody had shared with us a new API client that, if you know who I am, I'm a big command line terminal person, and I like to use a lot of the things like lazy git, lazy docker, these, because like terminal apps have like changed so freaking much over the last few years, where they're like GUI apps now. I mean, they're basically GUI apps if you want them to be. Like, they take mouse inputs and all that. And I've been a Postman user for a very long time. Postman's a great product. Not sponsor of the show, but a great product nonetheless.
But expensive.
And expensive, especially when you get on team accounts, which is what we have. And that's a real, like, unfortunately, that's a spot where it really shines, because it's so nice to manage API endpoints for your entire team. Not only API endpoints, but environmental variables and things like that. There's a lot of...
Sorry. I was going to say, it's nice until somebody that isn't a developer starts changing the endpoint or changing the data, and then it's like, but no, I had it set up so it would work better. My big one is
that problem?
Yeah, somebody on the CS team uses Postman because he interacts with the customers that use the API. So he gets in there and he mucks with it a lot. He does a lot of integrations with Zapier.
Mm-hmm.
So he's constantly testing the API and just will go in and thinks you have to hit save every time you do something. So my big one is the authentication. I like doing my OAuth authentication at the parent level, and then it feeds all of the endpoints under that collection.
Mm-hmm.
But I often go in there and the authorizations change. I'm like, but why? And then once I was on the phone with him and realized, oh, he's going in and doing stuff and hitting save, and it's saving for everybody. Like, please stop.
We should have a conversation about that, because on the project that I work on with apparently a much smarter team, I'm not pointing fingers, but so we use it very much like Git, where there is the main repo of API endpoints, and then everybody creates a fork of it and works off that fork. they can still contribute back to the main. Like if there is if they need to add an endpoint, or if there's something that needs to change to an endpoint, they can contribute it back. And that we have it set up where they just push directly. There's no like review or anything like
approval
that.
process.
Yeah, I think you can set that up. We just don't really have a need to use it. But yeah, it prevents from that specific issue that you're talking about. And you can even do that with the environmental. Again, not a sponsor of the show. We're talking about Postman. We've gotten off on a little bit of a tangent, but you can do the same thing for environments as well, where they fork environments, because with environments, a lot of times like everybody might have a different key that they use, right? So
right. Cool.
But
I'll have to check that
back
out.
on track. So obviously we use Postman for Teams. There's a lot of clones of Postman that people use. Open source or cheaper. I haven't seen, I don't know which one of them have Teams feature. I haven't really dove that much into it. But what I was getting to originally was somebody had pointed me to a new, completely transparent. I've never heard the term TUI, Terminal User Interface. I had never heard of a TUI before, but I guess that's what they're calling these sort of apps now, a TUI, where everything works in your terminal. And this one called Posting, which if you're in our Discord, the link's posted in Discord. If you're listening to audio, go watch the video. I'm showing stuff on the video, but all the stuff will be in the show notes. This is super sweet. I've actually been using it. I've been working on migrating because I've been using Postman for so long. I have a massive collection of API endpoints that I use in there, both for business and non-business related stuff. Not non-business. That sounded dirty for some reason. No, I guess for client projects and non-client projects, right? I have a massive amount of API endpoints. So I've been migrating. It hasn't been a super easy migration. Like there's a conversion that you have to do, but it's not that challenging. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I can't remember if it was Dimitri or oh for fuck's sake, or who in our Discord had recommended this to me, but man, I have been hooked on this thing. There is a PHP architect article. If somebody wanted to write a PHP architect article after you wrote the one to help John out, it was Dimitri. Dimitri's the one that had mentioned this to me. Do an article on TUIs and all the applications out there that you can use TUIs, which would have been absolutely mind-blowing before graphical user interfaces became good. Because I think about it, even today, it's like, really, I mean, you could put all this stuff on a server somewhere and log in from anywhere and do all your work. It's very nice. I enjoy it.
I want to. I'm
sorry. I'm calling it terminal user interface. I guess Kevin in our Discord it's actually text-based user interface, which I don't agree with that so much. I mean, I guess that's what it is. Yeah, text-based terminal. Yeah. All right, I see it. Now. Text-based user interface. Yeah, I am digging this. I'm digging this app. I will rank it right up there with my Lazy Git and Lazy Docker, which are probably my two absolute favorite ones. It even had me look for a database TUI, a database client TUI, which I found. I haven't actually deployed it yet. I haven't, because it's like, I don't know. I like, from a mental perspective, I just do. I don't know. It's like it seems different with database stuff, right? There's already a very verbose command line world for that.
That's true. And it's got. I want to try this just because it's got to be more lightweight on your system as well.
That's true. Yeah, probably. because a lot of
So-
these, especially these API clients, they're like Electron clients, right? They're and like, yeah, now that you say it, yeah, they're a little heavy. They feel like they're a little heavy and a little clunky too. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Usability, yeah.
All right, are you ready for my my admission of a screw up?
Absolutely.
All right. If you came to PHP Tech this year, you got a free subscription to the PHP Architect magazine. You know, we here at PHP Architect appreciate you attending a conference so much that we gave you a year free on your digital subscription. I wrote the script that took all of the users that had a ticket.
I'm very worried where this is going. I'm
Correct.
not aware of this.
I know you're not. This is why it's funny. I wrote a script that took that list, created accounts if they didn't exist, created a subscription if it didn't exist. In there, if you had an account, I checked to see if you had a digital subscription to the magazine. And if you did, I added 12 issues to that subscription. Except where I did the update, I didn't say digital only. So if you had an account and you had ever had a print subscription, you got 12 added to your print subscription too.
You are so fired. Do you understand how fired you are right now?
I think it only affected a handful of people. But luckily, one of the people I know, Tim Lytle, was very nice. He's like, "Did you mean to send me one?" Because he had written for the magazine. I'm like, "Oh yeah, we sent you one for your article." And then he did it the next month, and I'm like, didn't go and look at it. And then finally this month he said again, I got this month's issue, and I go and look, and then it hit me. I'm like, I bet that's what it is.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, so this is news to me.
So I don't know. I don't think it affected that many because we follow the stats of every month how many print issues we are sending out. And there was a small bump, but it was only like 2 or 3. I want to say, I think Krell might be one of them, but he hasn't stepped up and said, "Hey, why am I getting these?"
I feel like I saw somebody else say that, and maybe it was Tim, because I remember thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, you write for us. Were you one of the people that opted out? Because we do have some writers that are like, hey, I don't need the print version. So I remember thinking, I'm like, huh, that's weird. And that's weird. That's crazy. You've been holding that one. You've been holding on to that one a little bit, haven't you?
Well, in my defense, I just found out this week. I think it was earlier this week, and I thought it'd make good content for the show. Another screw up on my part.
That was great. So yeah, they got a few. So the bigger question now is, what is your next course of action? Are you going to correct that? Or are you just going to be like, well, congratulations, you have,
like I said,
copies.
because it only went up a couple, and I don't know if they were legit purchases. I could go and really dive in and try and find them, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's good, guys. Yeah, we actually just had this conversation last week, I think, where John and I would very much like to make it, be able to contribute more, like with the magazine, especially where we don't have to charge as much or charge at all for the digital version, and charge less for the print version, which the print version is fairly expensive. I know that. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that as a consumer of the print version. I just always like feeling like I was contributing. I was helping out a PHP based company. So I was always all right with it, but thinking, man, but magazines are expensive. Like if you go to a store and try to buy a magazine, a single edition of a magazine, it's freaking expensive.
We pay it. I don't know how much to say, but basically what we pay for a magazine to be printed, we also pay in shipping.
Right.
So it's like it becomes expensive. We're not making anything additional on a print issue.
Right. But we were just talking about how we'd like to get to a spot where we can do that sort of thing, or or sponsor more user groups or conferences or stuff like that, and hopefully we get there at some point. But we'll see. I'm sure. I mean, we're up to however many Patreon supporters now. Where we'll be in another 20 years, John. Think about that. That's where we'll be.
Is that how that works?
I don't know, man. I've lost track. I don't like talking politics, but obviously I always preference that. I always say that. And then we end up having to talk a little bit of politics. And I can't not talk about this. And if you're not here in the US, I don't know how much you know or how much you follow. Obviously, it's a massive deal here. How crazy is it? The current president who accepted to run for re-election has now backed out.
I think it was necessary.
I 100% think it was necessary. Yeah.
I was having a discussion with my neighbor the day before, and we were both just like, I can't believe he's still running like this. There's no way. And then got the news that he dropped out, and I feel bad for him. He doesn't want to, but he's kind of being forced to because he's not up to the task. Or maybe he's up to it. It's just perception-wise amongst most people, he's not up to the task.
Right. Yeah, I have mixed emotions about it. Mainly, the thing I'm most frustrated with is I think with his advisors, with his his family, he should have done this sort of soul searching sooner and not accepted to run for re-election. I think that would have said a lot, especially when it always bothered me when he said the only reason I decided to run was a certain incident happened during the previous administration's tenured, and when that happened, he's like, "That's it, I'm running." And it's like, okay, fine, that's why you ran, you won, but you've had 4 years to correct the ship. If you're feeling like this isn't what you really wanted to do to begin with, then take that opportunity to say, okay, I came in office, I corrected the ship, I feel like we're going we're in a good place now. I would like to step back and let somebody else from my party, because we're mainly a two-party country here, let somebody else from my party step up and continue moving forward. I think I would have had a lot more respect for him had he done that. Not that I've lost total respect for him. It's, like you said, it was a bad situation. I think he made the right call. I don't know. I just wish.
I don't think he made the call. That's the thing. I think he was still going to push through and run. It was all the donors saying, we're not donating any more money because we don't think you should run. I feel like he was pushed out. It wasn't.
You think he was forced out.
It wasn't a soul searching decision.
Really? All right.
In my opinion.
Okay. All right. I don't want to linger on too much about it. I was just curious about what your thoughts were on it. Yeah. I know you're a Trump guy anyways, John. So,
I am, and I can't believe that somebody tried taking him out.
Oh,
completely condemn that. That's not the way to handle politics. We don't murder people just because we don't like what they stand for. Half the people that vote want him. So why? That's a stupid way to handle it.
I hate not to call you out. Okay, I'm really not trying to call you. I hate that people say, well, half the country likes this person, half the country no, half the country doesn't. Okay,
I said half the people that vote. I said half the people that
no,
vote.
not even half the people that vote. Not even half the people. This is part of the problem with our electoral college. Like, you don't even have to have half the people. You don't even have to have the majority of the people, and he doesn't. Totally different. You're getting me worked up, John. Stop it. But yeah, and you know what's so terrible about that whole event? Like, there's so many bad things about that event, but the worst thing about it is, as soon as it happened, I thought to myself, oh God, please don't let the person be a Democrat. Please don't let the person be a liberal who pulled the trigger. And when I found out that they weren't, not only that they weren't, but that the family of the person were hard-leaning right-wing people, I actually felt a little relief, because it's like, oh, thank God, it's, and that's a terrible thing to say. And
I don't follow the news very much. Did they ever find a reason, or just
not
the
that
person's
I
crazy?
know of. Yeah,
just they're crazy.
Yeah, just I guess obviously the person has some mental issues, because anybody who is willing to do something like that to another person must have some sort of mental issues. But yeah, I don't know if there was some sort of note or anything like that, or reason left to why they did it. And honestly, I haven't followed it that closely.
Gotcha. All right,
we've really got to move on.
Yeah,
please.
Moving on right now. Friend of San Diego PHP, Annie Sexton. I know she's not in San Diego anymore. Moved on into the JavaScript world, big in on X with JavaScript. Released a funny skit. If you're into Bridgerton, I thought it was funny, so I decided to share it because I knew at some point we're going to need to lighten the mood.
Bridgerton. Do you want me to play this?
No, I was just sharing it. I thought it was funny.
How long is it?
It's a minute.
Yeah, that's pretty long. Yeah. The current wife watches Bridgerton, and I have a Spotify playlist I listen to, which is like a lot of modern music done to like orchestras playing it. And every time she comes in, she's like, "Oh, you're listening to your Bridgerton soundtrack." I'm like, "I don't know what that is, and it's not that. Stop saying it."
You need to watch it. It's a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Is that the one that they're saying is basically porn, or was porn? Like, what, season 1 was porn, or no? Am I thinking something else? Maybe I'm thinking something else.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Not that at all. I mean, there are some scenes, but nothing crazy.
some scenes.
Yeah.
Speaking of some scenes, I got Deadpool is opening, and it's the first movie I've wanted to go see in the theater in a while, so kind of excited about it. You know what else excites me, John?
What excites you?
Good tools that you use, like honeybadger.io.
Splunk like querying without having to sell my kidneys? Nice. That's a direct quote from someone who just saw Honeybadger Insights, the new observability tool from the folks at honeybadger.io. Insights is a fresh approach to logging, performance monitoring, and observability. It's a bit like Splunk, Datadog, or CloudWatch logs, but with just the good parts and a reasonable price tag. Honeybadger helps you gain deeper visibility into what's happening inside your applications, letting you drill down into the details and step back to see patterns in your data. You'll love how easy it is to query your logs and events and create quick charts and dashboards. The best part is that it's available on Honeybadger's free tier as part of their comprehensive monitoring suite, which includes error tracking, uptime monitoring, status pages, and more. Get started for free, then pay as you grow, or choose a 30-day free trial to unlock the full power of Honeybadger right away. To get started, visit honeybadger.io/plans. That's honeybadger.io/plans.
You're a weird segue, A. Woods.
Thank
you, Honeybadger. You know who I bet you wish they had Honeybadger? Microsoft. We talked about having a bad week last week. My God, did Microsoft have a bad week? Did the world have a bad week? Did you follow any of this Cloudstrike stuff? Dude, how absolutely nutso was this?
I've actually watched a few videos from an ex-Microsoft employee that's trying to explain what happened, and it is fascinating
Yeah.
what took place.
So, were you? Fortunately, we weren't impacted.
Because
Here
we
at
can't afford
PHPUgly.
anything like CrowdStrike.
It's true. So, you want to maybe explain what happened?
So yeah, CrowdStrike, I think, is a software piece of software sold to try to catch uh, problems, viruses, malware, any sort of attacks on systems prior to them even being known about.
Right.
And the way it works is this software is run as a driver on Microsoft systems. So it's run at the kernel level, not in user space. So if anything goes wrong in the app, in that driver, you get a blue screen of death. And that's, I think they, because of how important their software is and what it does, well, technically it's signed, they also get a fast track past
Right.
some
That's what
security,
I
some
got from
signing
that.
thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, we got to get this out. And they released it. And the recovery sounds like a big pain in the ass. It's not as simple, oh, just update the driver. It's not quite that simple.
Yeah, like you need like a IT professional, and we're all like if you had family members that were impacted by this for some reason, you would be getting a call to come out
Right.
and help them fix it because this is some nasty. I mean, not nasty stuff from the perspective of, hey, you brought down the world, but just like how, like you said, first thing they had this escalated privilege as far as their release cycles go, but how dependent we are. Man, I don't even know how to word this correctly. Just the fact that a third party brought down the OS that ran major networks. In you know how many Linux systems were brought down? None. So use Linux. I'm just always surprised to see when you talk about like airports and things like that, how much of it is run on Microsoft. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because I mean it's a good product. I haven't personally used it in a long time, so I couldn't give you an honest opinion on the pros, either as a desktop or from server management perspective. Right, my server management infrastructure on Windows is even way older than my personal desktop one is. But man, this is just terrifying how vulnerable we still are as a society of just one screw up crippling us.
Yeah, and I think the sad part was the driver itself didn't change, so it was signed, like, so it got permission to be deployed easily. It was in a file that it read, which was, I guess, pointed to a memory space, but the file was all zeros, wasn't correct.
Right.
And just done.
Coding's hard, man.
Yeah.
Coding is hard.
Wonder how many heads rolled on that one. That's crazy.
I had a conversation with a client recently who, was just very adamant about a design and approach that we were proposing for the application. They were like, no, this is good for 98% of the use cases, but 2% of the use cases, this is going to fail. And I'm like, you're really wanting to stall this whole project because of 2% of use cases, which, if even that is correct, basically, he's like, yeah, basically, yeah. I see things like this. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever, man. Just we'll make sure everybody can use it because I don't know what 2% equates to in your world, but it might be enough to bring down a plane. So we'll do it.
Well, that's the funny thing. I think my wife was like, how did it stop planes from flying? I'm like, I don't think it stopped planes from flying, but all the systems that check people in, get you through security, like
Right.
it was those systems that stopped the process. It wasn't like the planes couldn't take off,
Right.
because I don't think airplanes are running Windows operating system
Yeah.
for their
I don't know, man.
autopilot.
I don't know anymore. Like I like to think they're not, but who knows? Oh, speaking of, let me throw this down here. This is a let's see, what do I want to talk about next here? Let's stick with Windows for a second. I'm just going to throw this because I can't share it on the screen. I didn't realize if you did use Windows back in the day, especially if you're a developer, a PHP developer, even more specifically, back in the day, chances are you used an application called WAMP, which stood for Windows Apache MySQL PHP. And you would deploy WAMP and you'd be able to develop code and test it and all that. I guess WAMP is not a thing anymore. Like the project has just ceased to exist.
Really?
I caught this. I think I caught it on Reddit. I'm like, that can't be right. And I Google WAMP and I get a link for the WAMP server. I'm like, it's right there. And I click on it and it's nothing. Like it goes nowhere. I'm like, wait, what?
No wonder you can't share. Address unreachable. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. So I guess WAMP is that we talked about this recent. What did we talk about? Oh, Winamp. We had a conversation about Winamp. I forget what it was, but I felt like it was the same thing. Like they've decided to discontinue Winamp, or it was still going. I forget, but I don't know. It's just like now I'm feeling old. Like shit that was everybody was dependent on at one point in our life is just this archaic solution, legacy solution that nobody uses, so much to the fact that it's a dead project. I'm like, wow, that's insane. And they even said the people part of the project was just like Docker containers are just easier and blah blah blah. And yeah, what Kevin says, XAMPP is basically the same thing for Windows. Yeah, but yeah, Docker. Hey, I can't remember life before Docker. Okay, we talked about. So this is a pet peeve. Not pet peeve. I'm sorry. I said that word incorrectly. One of the bigger questions that Taylor would always get, Taylor Otwell, the creator of Laravel, one of the biggest questions he would always get, especially early in the surge of the Laravel framework. We're talking about early 5 days, where Laravel really started to take off. People would ask, can you point me to an example of something that's built with Laravel? And Taylor was always very modest about this. He's like, no, I can't. And I don't really care to. And I always liked that answer. It's like, no, I don't know who does it. They're not required to let me know. And I'm not interested in tracking anybody that does let me know. I'm like, oh, all right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the people over Titan is like, nope, not on my watch. I'm going to let you know. And there's now a site out there called Built with Laravel. This is kind of cool. I don't know how they're gathering this information, but don't really care.
There's a suggest up at the top.
Yeah, I'll just assume that they're vetting this stuff correctly and they're confirming it. I don't really think it's that important to say, oh, yeah, they say this person's doing it, but they're not really doing it. They're doing it in a very, abstract way. I don't really care.
But Apple, really?
Asana? Open Table? There was another one on here. Marvel? Zillow, I think, was on here. Nike? A lot of very good things.
Apple in the bottom left.
Apple in the bottom. I think we knew about Apple already. I think somebody had already mentioned Apple in one of the forums.
Really?
I don't think that was a big secret. So this is kind of cool. This is more important, like if you're a consultant trying to get client work and trying to sell Oh yeah, Laravel is very much a enterprise-ready software solution. We don't have to have that conversation, but from a code-based perspective, it is. And they can point to something like this. The cool thing about this is they even break it down further by outlining some of the other projects that are deployed with the Laravel application, like Inertia, Jigsaw, Livewire, which I'm a big Livewire person. This is clearly wrong. What? This is wrong. I thought I was gonna. I was tempted to submit PHP Tech TV to this because we are very much Livewire. The reason I pull this up is because I came across this one, Twill, TWILL. Now I like to think I keep pretty up to date with Laravel solutions in the Laravel ecosystem. I didn't know what Twill was. They have all of these. Let me see before I say that. Jigsaw, Livewire, React. That one's got a few. Vue.js. Twill has an impressive portfolio here. And Marvel's one of them. OpenAI is one of them. Nike, New York Times. And I'm like, man, I don't know what this is. I had to look it up. And I guess it's a CMS system that you can add to your Laravel app. And it's a little misleading. I don't want to say misleading. It's not like just do a composer require and you have this CMS system available to you in your application, which you kind of do, but you still have to code. Like, it's not like a WordPress solution where all of a sudden you have all these interfaces to your CMS. You still have to build them yourself. I thought this was cool. It seems like a lot of work. Like, I'm not sure where I would use this. And I noticed that they don't have... I just blinked on it. What's the one I use all the time? We use it for
CMS?
yeah, no, not CMS, but oh man, I got a brain fart here. Come on, dude. Tech TV. We use it on Tech TV. The back end. Filament.
Oh,
thank you. This is why I have you here, John.
Yeah.
They don't have a filament section, and I feel like you could easily put together a CMS system with filaments. So I'm not sure why I would use something like Twill. I don't know if that's how they pronounce it, but I don't know if you're into this. I know we have some big CMS people out there in our audience. If you are into this and you've used this, let me know. I'd be very curious. Again, great article suggestion for PHP Architect. Anybody who wants to write about it. Very interesting looking project. I don't have it pulled up. I should have pulled it up. Let me see. Twill. Oh, there it was. Oh, you actually saw my you saw my little demo app that I built with Twill. Twill Laravel. Wait. You don't see my domains. I'm sorry. My little demo app popped up as autocomplete. So this is Twill. I'll actually throw this in the show notes as well. I don't have this in my show notes. But yeah, kind of cool, kind of interesting. But it does require work. It does require. I kind of like this as opposed to like a WordPress solution. It does require you to understand your underlying code and how it works, because you actually have to write it yourself. I mean, it doesn't do any scaffolding for you from that perspective. So check it out if you're a Laravel person and CMSs are something that you need for your environment. All right. I feel like I've done enough talking, John.
You have. Always.
Damn it.
Just kidding. I'm going to move your cards over.
Oh, I see. I already got it. Thanks.
For you. Too late.
Oh, I got one more for you.
What is that?
You want to talk about one of yours? I've been hogging this whole show.
No, mine I have from weeks ago, so they don't really count anymore. The top one, I don't know that we want to talk about. We sure, let's.
But it's funny, man.
All right, let's go with this one first. Since we talked about CrowdStrike, the whole Palomar Health medical debacle.
Oh, God.
Do you know any more? I know you were affected by it, but what was it?
I don't know, and they're keeping very tight-lipped about it. So
I know they've been down for a long time.
Well, the thing is, and I don't know if these piggyback on each other. I didn't realize that's what this post was about. I haven't read this actual post, so they might talk about it in the post. But they got hit with a ransomware attack a while back, not that long ago. That got resolved. I don't know if they paid the ransomware and got released or what happened, but it was nasty. It went. Their systems were down for a couple of weeks. Things get back to normal, and I swear I'm not exaggerating. I felt like it was only for about 6 months that systems were normal again, and they got hit again.
Oh,
and
really?
this one has been horrible, and unfortunately, it happened when we were like trying to have some medical issues addressed in our family, and it was painful. It was painful to get an appointment, which we had somebody who went to an ER who needed to go see their primary doctor immediately. Like the ER said, listen, we're going to let you go. There's nothing more we can do for you. Call your primary, get in, see them, get this resolved. And that urgency took over a week, and it literally became, I don't know if that's the first time we went into the office to confront them and say, listen, we need to have this addressed. But we had to do that a couple of times in this whole scenario. It has been an absolute nightmare, and I don't know what's caused it. We just got an email this week or end of last week that says, hey, systems are coming back on. Our phone systems are on again. Our appointment making systems are on. Our prescription systems. I mean, all this stuff was down. Making appointments, getting prescriptions. It was horrible.
Yeah, this article says they were supposed to be back online by July 1st, and here we are on the 25th. So, yeah, that's crazy. And they're saying that the data that may have been accessed includes date of birth, social security number, medical history. That's scary.
Very scary. I did not catch all that. So I don't think they had none of the emails I read. I don't think they disclosed any of that, but they started sending out emails, and after a while, you just got pissed because it wasn't fixed. It's like this. Oh, we thank you for your patience. You're so important to us. It's like, no, I'm not being patient. You're not giving me a freaking opportunity. And our healthcare system is so jacked up in this country. It's not like I can just say, oh yeah, screw you guys. I'm going somewhere else. Man, it was horrible. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for putting me in a good mood there, John. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no problem.
Keep you in a good mood. All right, I'll talk about the other weird one. And I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm still weirded out. We sell books.
What are you talking?
Not weirded out. I don't know what we sell books, and PHP Architect has a long history of having study guides, and there was one for Zen PHP 5, and I guess I've not been a good steward as far as taking books off of sale.
Yes.
And yeah, so we
ended up terrible stewardess.
We ended up selling a Zen PHP 5 certification study guide recently.
So I hope everybody appreciates who John and I are with topics like this. This bothered us. Like for like days we talked about this. Like, wait, like we felt guilty. Like, wait, did we just like scam somebody? Do we need to take this down? What are we doing? Why is this here? And we've had to talk about it. It's like, I don't know. I mean, they knew what they were buying, right? So this is like I don't. If you know of a use case out there, we would love to hear somebody say, no. This. Somebody could really need this. You should
No,
keep it available.
they are a PHP historian, and they needed the book for their museum.
Nuh-uh. Did you follow? Did you follow? Oh
no,
damn it. I was feeling better about this, John. Why do you do this to me? God damn it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize we should just send it to him for free. Damn it. Oh, yeah. This is a weird, not a weird one. We just kept kicking around like, okay, well, why would somebody be buying this? And we didn't know how to handle it. So we just like, all right, well, they bought it. If they want to return it, they can return it. But yeah, if you know of a reason, let us know. And don't try to trick me with a story because shame on you or me or John. I don't know.
I give up.
That was great. Yeah, it's funny how much that bothered us. Still kind of does. But... All right. Before I get into my next story, let me say thanks to our supporters on Patreon.
And somebody pointed out that the last names are still messed up. I'm not going to say who they were.
Listen, they're going to be messed up until August because I'm not redoing it until August.
Definitely not going to call Kevin out for calling you out on that.
Next show. Kevin, is yours? Are you on here, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no.
Kevin K, right there in the middle.
Boop. In the middle. Kevin K. Oh, that's right. Kevin K. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I know. Kevin. I gotta fix it. I apologize to everybody. I'll get it fixed for next month for sure. I used to do it every week, but now I have. I don't know if everybody's noticed, but like the Patreon supporter scroll in the beginning, coming soon. It actually scrolls very lightly in the background of the Harry Mac outro. And then, of course, we have this slide. So I have to like create these like scrolling images, and it's just it's really more work than I wanted it to be, and I should dial back. But then I'm like, but they're Patreon supporters. I mean, it really should. I shouldn't complain about how much work it is. Yeah. So thanks to our supporters on Patreon.
There was another good reason to buy a Zen PHP 5 study guide. Their company still has a Zen legacy app that they maintain, so maybe they just needed some material for onboarding new people onto the project.
That came in from chat, huh?
Yep.
I really here it is right here. Mm-hmm. Really interesting. So not only is it a legacy Zen framework, right? It was a framework book, right?
It was a Zen
study
certification guide. Yeah.
For 5 point. Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily for a Zen framework.
Yeah. That's right. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah, you make me feel better. So yeah, Patreon support. Thanks, Patreon supporters. I already clicked off your screen.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm a big open source person. I like using open source solutions, but I will freely admit when we don't. And one of the things that we've talked about on the show, again, not sponsor of the show, is for PHP Architect, for the magazine release cycle, all that other stuff. We use a product called Notion. Like Notion, okay. It's it's great for what it is. It does take a little work to kind of get it dialed in, but whatever. There's a free tier for Notion, so keep that in mind. I'm not trying to sell out Notion, but if you're like me and you're like an open source person and you like using your own open source stuff, there is another solution out there. There are a couple solutions out there. The one that a lot of people turned me on to was Obsidian, which was very nice. I like Obsidian. I actually use Obsidian now every day when I'm not using Notion. But Obsidian doesn't allow you to do teams, doesn't allow you to share with teams, all that other stuff like Notion does. So now there's something called DocMost, which is meant to be a Notion-like clone for open source, or open source version of Notion. It does a good job. I will say it does a good job, but only in the most basic way you could use Notion. So if you use Notion to kind of manage your markdown documents and you want to be able to share with other people and work on stuff with other people, this is good for that. What it doesn't do that Notion does is I've spoken many times about how Notion, if you look at Notion as a database and everything's a database, it really helps you conceptualize what you can do with Notion. This isn't that. Like, you don't have this ability to create these inline databases, at least not currently. Maybe that'll change. Everything is just kind of a document out there. It does have some functionality where you can do like formulas and things like that, but it definitely falls pretty short of what Notion can do. But if you don't need that stuff, or if you struggle understanding the benefit of having everything be a database, this might be a good solution for you. I think I would only use it. So the cool thing about this is it's self-hosted. I don't know if they have a non-self-hosted version. They might. But it's self-hosted, so you spin it up on your machine and on a server somewhere and give people access to it, and you can create separate I forget what they call it. I forget what they call them, like notebooks or spaces. They call them spaces. You can create separate spaces where people have access to one space but don't have access to another space. So I like to put this stuff out here just because I'm big in open source. I love finding open source solutions, especially open source solutions that you host yourself. This is out there. I don't use it. I'll be fully transparent with you. I installed it on my server. I did some imports of stuff I had in Notion and stuff I had in Obsidian just to see how cleanly it did the imports. It does a pretty good job. But it falls way short of what Notion is, which is why I use Notion. And for what it is, I'm happy with Obsidian because I don't need to share with other people. So I just have Obsidian to do my other markdown stuff. I would even say that Obsidian is a little bit more powerful through their community plugin architecture than this is. But I digress. If all you need something cool to do markdown, this is a good solution out there. Give it a shot.
What do you use? What are you using Obsidian for that you, and why not in Notion since we're paying for it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, great question. So anything that I used to put in my private, I forget what Notion calls them now, spaces, right? Anything I put in my private, I kind of moved over to Obsidian. So the reason why, of course, is Obsidian has a very powerful Vim plugin. So everything is a Vim interface for me. I can move around. I can create my documents. It does have a lot of the, again, through the community plugin system, have a lot of the features that Notion has where you can create databases from other documents sort of thing. I don't use it for that a lot. Notion definitely seems better for that. But yeah, that's why. I just like the quickness I have. I also have this ability in Notion, in Obsidian, where you can create these workspaces. So I have like a workspace for our meetings. We have a day of meetings, right? So I have like workspace for meetings. I have a workspace for the podcast where I can like lay out windows. You can do splits, horizontal and vertical splits. So I can lay out windows where I want. And yeah. I'll show you sometime if you're really interested, but that's why it's 95% of it is the being able to navigate around with my key bindings. I just love that. I don't know why I can't shake it. I just can't. All right. Matter of fact, I'll throw a link for Obsidian in the show notes too. If anybody is listening to audio podcasts and would like to follow up on any of this stuff, it'll be in the show notes. So I'll throw that in here now. I feel silly because so many people in our Discord, I think A was one of them actually. So many people in our Discord kept saying, Eric, if you like Notion, check out Obsidian. And I'm like, I don't need another tool. I don't need another tool. Stop telling me. And then I checked it out. I'm like, all right, I need one more tool. Okay, where are we at?
We're good.
Professionals. We're like professionals at this now. All right, cool.
You're gonna need to cut it off a little early today. Gotta go start packing for tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You start your vacation, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, have a good. All right, so just a reminder: no show next week. Week after that, maybe we'll see. We'll see how things go when John gets back. If he comes back, you never know. The guy, go join a commune somewhere and just never see him again. Probably. All right, let's get stuff up. Okay, that's gonna do it for episode 391. I'm Eric,
and I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Yes. Thank you.
I got family out. I got NorCal Kid is down hanging out and with their partner, and also have the current wife's niece. So the current niece is out visiting, which is great. Been having a blast.
And they're hanging out in the pool right now.
They're hanging out in the pool. We went to the ball game last night, and I think I enjoyed it more than they did. But that's
what I don't believe that.
So I go to this minor league ballpark by where I live, and it's minor league baseball. It's lower division A, so it's quality is all right. Every Wednesday, we just learned every Wednesday is Wildlife Day, where you can bring any animal to the stadium. Most people bring their dogs, some people bring their bunnies, but yeah, any animal you have, you can bring it to the stadium. So the current wife has her
brought the niece.
Yeah, I brought the niece. Yeah, it was a perfect time for Wildlife Day. But yeah, the current wife has her dog park friends that hang out. Actually, I mean, one of them comes to our house on not a regular basis, but like usually a couple of times, every couple of months. I mean, they'll come out and hang out on a Saturday. So I think we're gonna try to get together, try to do a whole dog park day at the ball game. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get to watch baseball. I don't care.
Get to drink beer and watch baseball while the dogs run around. Perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to catch another game. All-Star game was recently here in the U.S. I don't know how big of a deal that is outside the U.S. I actually don't watch the All-Star game anymore. I'm not protesting or anything. It used to be like, I don't know how much of the history you know of it, John, but it used to be back in the day. We have two divisions here in Major League Baseball, the American League and the National League. And back in the day, the only time the American League team would play the National League team would be in the World Series. It was like, this would be the only time they would see each other. So like pitchers didn't know how hitters hit, and you had to do all the scouting, and hitters didn't know, what pitchers did. And, this would be the only time during the year they saw them. And during the All-Star game, right? Like during the All-Star game, National League players would play against American League players. And I like that. I was a big fan of that. But now they started doing these like interleague plays. And initially it was just like West Coast teams would do interleague, and then East Coast teams would do interleague. And now it's just like everybody plays everybody every year. It's whatever. So it's like it's the All-Star game, and to some degree even the World Series has kind of lost its spark for me. I don't intentionally not watch it. I mean, if I'm around, if it's on, I'll watch it, but it's not that important to me anymore. Not that cool. Gotcha. That was a tangent. All right. You gonna head out?
Yeah, I'm taking off.
Okay, we're gonna cut this one short. Thanks everybody for hanging out.